Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So we've been talking about the Virgin Islands for the last few days, and the situation between the survivors, the estate, and now the Virgin Islands has interjected itself into the whole mix. So we know that they had a hearing yesterday, and we know that the judge ruled that the judge will be making their ruling in the future. So there was no, we didn't come to a conclusion yesterday. It's just carrying on like typical court stuff. So we're going to stay on top of that, and we're going to see where that all goes, because for those of you who have been listening to the show, you understand that it's just absolutely beyond the pale that the Virgin Islands would attempt to interject themselves into this situation like they're some sort of hero, like they're some sort of savior for these survivors, when in reality, officials from the Virgin Islands were looking the other way the whole entire time, when in reality, officials from the Virgin Islands were getting their palms greased the whole entire time, when in reality, they didn't really care about these survivors, because in reality, all they care about is the money, folks. And it's sad, and it sucks to have to say that and be so straightforward with it, but it's just a fact at this point. We understand that the survivors are secondary to most people involved in this case. We understand that, and that's why we're so outraged, and that's why every single day you folks are continuing the battle. You folks are continuing the jihad. You folks are the ones that are ringing the bells, right? You're the ones that are letting everybody know that this shit cannot continue to go on. And without you people out there who are listening to this show, other shows, and just consuming content on a regular basis, just like wild people, this story would have already been brushed under the rug. So just remember, folks, they can ignore one of us, but they can't ignore all of us if we keep carrying on and keep pushing for them to do their job. Eventually, there's going to have to be some give, right? So that's what we have to keep doing. We just have to keep making sure we keep the pressure on a daily basis, and we have to just keep informing those who still aren't hip to what's going on here, right? If you have friends that really don't know what's going on, share this podcast with them, share other podcasts with them, send them to articles written by Whitney Webb, whatever it may be. But it's time that people wake up to what's going on. It's time for people to wake up and see how we're being used by the elite ruling class, all of us. And it is unacceptable to me to be the subject of any sort of tyrant, especially these corporate monarchists, these robber barons who have put their thumb over all of society and kept everybody pinned down to do their bidding. And we've known that for years. We've known that they were liars. We've known that they were involved in all sorts of crazy nonsense overseas. We've known that, and we've all turned the other cheek because our lives were relatively comfortable. The food service is never disrupted, et cetera, et cetera. Sure, there's political strife, but as far as our day-to-day lives, our ball games aren't being interrupted, our reality TV shows aren't being interrupted, so everyone's been blasé. Well, once the curtain's been pulled back on this, though, and you shine a little light into what was going on here, it's changed for a lot of people, folks. I know people that had zero interest in any of this stuff, politics, Jeffrey Epstein, any of it. And the second they sat down and they started looking at all of the evidence in the Jeffrey Epstein case, it was a game changer for them. I know people that the Jeffrey Epstein case has been the catalyst for them to not only get involved, obviously, in bringing justice for the survivors, but also getting involved politically in their hometowns and asking questions and realizing that the people that were put into power by us, by the way, the people that we keep electing, do not have our best interests at heart. They don't have society's best interest at heart. They have their own power, their own wealth, and the consolidation of power and wealth on their mind. That's what they care about, not us. And people are starting to wake up to see that. And the only way we can end that is to hold people accountable for their actions. And that's the first step, folks, right? Amassing an army of people who will no longer take it. That way, we can truly put the pressure on our so-called elected officials. All right, so today we're going to talk about some of the footage that came out of the Jeffrey Epstein Palm Beach mansion raid. And they released all of this stuff on Monday. But I was so caught up with this whole entire Virgin Islands situation and going crazy about that I was waiting to do this one until we were done with the hearing that was taking place down there. So we're going to jump into this article here in a second, and yeah, make sure you click on the link if you haven't done so yet. If you haven't checked out the video of the raid, the video will be here for you in this link on the New York Post page. So make sure you click on that, watch the video, and then, of course, like I always tell you, inside of these articles, there's always other hyperlinks for you to follow. So I always suggest that you click on the link so that you can check out the article for yourself, read it for yourself, and it's always a good idea to check out all of the hyperlinks as well that are provided, because they do provide some context if you're not sure about where the story's at, etc., etc. All right, so New York Post headline: Disturbing video goes inside Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach estate, by Gabrielle Fonrouge and Emily Saul. February 3rd, 2020. Emily Saul, huh? Better Call Saul. I don't mean to digress, but that's a great TV show. If you guys aren't watching Better Call Saul, hop onto Netflix and binge watch it. It is fantastic. All right, so disturbing video taken inside Jeffrey Epstein's sprawling Palm Beach estate gives an inside look into the late billionaire pedophile creepy proclivities, including a taste for pink carpets, red light district lighting, and plenty of images of nude young women. I mean, what's next? What is he going to have? The lava lamp in his room and the black light, the glow in the dark under black light posters? What is this guy? I mean, this guy is absolutely defunct. His whole entire brain was wired incorrectly. This guy's brain should have been removed from his head, and science should have studied it, because that's how disturbed this individual was. All right? Jeffrey Epstein quite possibly was one of the most disturbed individuals I have ever read about. And you know what's even crazier than that, folks? I believe that Ghislaine Maxwell is even sicker, if you can believe it, okay? The video, released by the Palm Beach State Attorney's Office Monday, depicts a 2005 walkthrough of the manch that investigators from the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office undertook as part of their probe into Epstein and allegations that he sexually abused more than a dozen minors. Every time I read that sort of stuff, it honestly makes me sick. I mean, imagine these kids, little 13, 14, 15-year-old kids, coming from broken homes, having nothing, going to school, seeing their friends with all the snazzy, fancy clothes, all the best pairs of shoes, the purses, etc., whatever it is kids are going crazy about these days. And you don't have that. And then one of your friends comes to you and says, hey, look, I got this old guy who will give you a couple of $100 if you just massage him. And as one of these underprivileged kids, their eyes light up, right? A massage? Hell yeah, I'm going to go make $200. I want to get me a pair of insert designer shoes here. And then you see how the trap is sprung. And then you see how he has his fingers and his hooks locked into these kids. It's all about money, folks. It is all about money and finding children from broken homes. That was his MO. Using his money to reel them in, because he would wait and he would find out that, he would make sure the due diligence would be done to make sure that these girls came from these sort of homes. And it's just sad to think. Just sad to think about the more than a dozen minors, and we know it's a lot more than that. But to think about these girls that have not come forward, to think about the girls who are still suffering in silence, the women now who are suffering in silence because of what Jeffrey Epstein did, and saying that in 2018 that he had girls as young as 12 with him in the Virgin Islands. Who are those girls? Where are they? Do they not matter? Investigators first entered the 14,223 square foot property with their guns drawn and climbed a curved staircase decked out in Pepto-Bismol pink carpets that led to a hallway with an eerie red light, several guest rooms, and a large master bedroom. An eerie red light. I mean, I don't know if you folks are familiar with the red light district over in like Amsterdam or, et cetera, but there's a reason it's called the red light district. And that's what this guy was trying to go after, like make it seem like he was in the red light district. It's so weird. Everything about this is just so weird. There's layer upon layer to unfold, and every time you peel back one layer, there's another one there for you to check out. It's just insane. The video shows investigators combing through a series of guest rooms, many decorated with pastel pink or baby blue walls that have toys inside, including a pink pig stashed in a closet and a teddy bear on the nightstand in one of the rooms. And let's remember, folks, none of these people have kids, okay? Epstein didn't have kids. Ghislaine Maxwell didn't have kids. None of these people had kids. But yet they have a pink pig stashed in a closet and a teddy bear on the nightstand in one of the rooms. And this didn't smack of disgustingness for people who were coming to visit Jeffrey Epstein? Sorry, I don't buy it. The whole I had no idea what he was doing is a bunch of bullshit, folks, okay? If you stepped foot into Jeffrey Epstein's house and took one look at the decor, took one look at all the other stuff that was on the walls, you had certainly an idea that you were not dealing with a normal man. In a hallway outside the master bedroom, Epstein embellished the area with a sculpture of a woman's backside, a painting of a young nude girl splayed across a white massage table, and another image that was so explicit investigators blurted out the video shows. It's believed to be the image of a young girl around 6 bending over in a short dress with her backside exposed, according to the Daily Mail. Just folks, honestly, I think I just threw up a little bit reading that. When I get done reading some of these articles, I feel so dirty and so disgusting that I honestly want to use the same protocols that they use for Ebola on the suits, but actually just spray that stuff all over my body, because that's how gross I feel. It is absolutely disgusting to think that there is a little girl around 6 years old bending over in a short dress with her backside exposed, and Jeffrey Epstein thought that that was in good taste. He thought that that could be on his wall, and none of the sick-ass bastards that hung out with him from Glenn Dubin on down thought that there was something wrong with that picture. Well, guess what, folks? If they thought there was nothing wrong with that picture, that's because they have the same exact proclivities. Fellow travelers and all, folks. The pervy financier pedophile's penchant for young women's derrieres is evident across the compound, with a slew of photos showing exposed backsides, including at least one inside the master bedroom. Inside the bedroom's master bathroom is a black and white sketch of his then-girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell and her dog, alongside a photo of Maxwell naked on a beach. And again, with the then-girlfriend stuff, people like Ghislaine Maxwell don't have boyfriends. They have assets that they're running. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's even what Epstein was. Epstein was an asset. He was a vehicle for Ghislaine Maxwell to get to where her and her handlers wanted to go. And where they wanted to go was into a place of blackmail, into a place of dossiers, and into a place of, oh, wait for it, folks, power, because we know they crave nothing more than power. They want all the power in the whole entire world. And I don't say that, and that's not hyperbole, okay? They want all of the power. Curiously, the bathroom includes a desk complete with notepads, pens, and more photos, as well as a full dental chair with magnifying glasses, sharp tools, and what appears to be a vibrator. What? Inside a closed lavatory in the bathroom, a large image of the backside of a nude woman showering faces anyone sitting on the toilet above yet another desk with more pens, notepads, and a few pairs of reading glasses. Just outside, sketches of nude male and female bodies dot the wall, including a sketch of a young woman in a fetal position and another showing a muscular woman with lopsided breasts. Boy, this guy had some sick proclivities, folks. Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and everybody who was surrounded by them who surrounded them are all sick people, in my opinion. All people that have no place in our society. Because if you were enabling and taking part in what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, you are not wired correctly, my friend, and you need a long time to sit in a nice confined space and reflect back on your choices. All right? So prison for all of these people is the only route. Just outside the estate's pool is a cluttered gym and a small office area that shows a photo of a baby girl and an image of Epstein with 3 young women in what appears to be a chain massage. The photo shows Epstein sitting in a chair with 3 women behind him, all touching each other's shoulders or heads. Behind an elliptical in the home gym is a photo of what appears to be a teen girl in a skimpy black bikini posing by a rocky cliff, and another image showing another possibly teen girl laying naked in the sand. Now, we talked about some of these pictures a couple of days ago when the stuff first came out, but I had not seen the video yet. So this article has that video in it, and I figured that it would be certainly something that you folks definitely want to check out. Many of these images were taken in as evidence, but Palm Beach prosecutors ultimately fumbled the case in 2008, letting Epstein off with a sweetheart deal that included a 13-month prison stint and a requirement to register as a sex offender. Despite interviews with more than a dozen victims, many with similar stories, Epstein pleaded guilty to just one count of solicitation of a minor. Manhattan prosecutors opened a new sex trafficking investigation into Epstein in 2019, but the case was closed after the billionaire mysteriously killed himself, allegedly, while locked up in a federal jail. And they call him a billionaire here? Yeah, I guess that's right, considering we know he has money stashed offshore. If anyone thinks that Jeffrey Epstein only has the amount of money that the court is recognizing, well, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I have a flight for you to take to the moon, because there is zero chance that Jeffrey Epstein does not have stacks upon stacks of dough overseas or hidden or wherever it may be. So a forensic accountant needs to be on the case, and I'm sure that the lawyers for the survivors are all over that. It's a very competent group of lawyers defending these survivors, okay? And that I don't mean Gloria Allred or her daughter, by the way. I'm talking about the other lawyers that are involved with Virginia and Maria, et cetera, et cetera. These lawyers know what they're doing. They have a strategy, and they're going to the mattresses, folks. They're not going to let these women be run all over this time. And that's it's very refreshing to know. But behind them, well, there's all of you. And when I say all of you, I mean all of you. There are hordes of us, folks. There are hordes of people who have had enough. And whatever the reason may be that you find this case disgusting, some people may be here because the government is so screwed up that they can't take it anymore. Others may have started that way and then have read the case and read the stories and have not only become so disgusted by the way the government has acted, but by the way that these girls have been treated. And that is the camp that I'm in. When I first came into this story, it was all about the government corruption for me. But as I've read the stories of what has happened to these women, and I've gotten emails from other women who have explained what has happened to them in similar circumstances, and to just be so locked into this story, I don't know how it doesn't move you. I honestly have no idea how this story doesn't move you. When we're talking about kids that are 12, 13, 14 years old, it's it's depressing almost, right? And if there was no movement, if people like Dubin and Wexner and Andrew weren't under the gun right now, it would even be more depressing. So we have to take heart with the fact that at least there's some movement, and we're seeing that people are no longer going to tolerate this. People are no longer going to stay quiet. And these people can no longer operate in the shadows. Those days are done. All right, folks, if you'd like to contact me, you could do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. And if you would like to help support the podcast and get us out to places like Santa Fe, and then after Santa Fe, I have some other things in the works that I'm thinking about here. And if you would like to help support that kind of thing, you can do that by clicking on the GoFundMe link inside of the description box. All right, everybody, I will be back later on with a daily drop unless something occurs this afternoon that needs to be covered. All right, folks, enjoy your day, and I will talk to you all later.